Hey Steven, is it Z space 5 or Z space 5? Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com, and this is a preview of the Nikon Z5. Now, right off the rip, I do want to let you know that we sat through a presentation with Nikon where they showed us the camera, they told us everything we needed to know, and then they didn't supply us with any images before the announcement out of fear that somehow they would get leaked. Well, if you see images in this video, they're going to be supplied by Nikon rumors. But let's take a look at the Nikon Z6 because the Z5 is going to have basically the same exact body as the Z6 and Z7. The only difference is this mode dial replaces the LCD screen over here, and that is where the mode dial is going to live. But everything else about the back of the camera and the way that it's set up from the joystick on is going to be basically exactly the same, which is a really good thing for Nikon to have a Z50 that feels basically the same as a Z6 and a Z7, and now a Z5. But let's talk about the specs. You have a 24.3 megapixel full frame, not BSI sensor. So it doesn't have that backlit sensor that the Z6 has, but it's a very similar megapixel. It's 24.3, not 24.5. But you do now have the Speed 6 processor, which Nikon says helps get the ISO to the same level as the Z6. Is this the same sensor that you would find in the D750, just with added phase detect autofocus? Nikon says that it's a newly developed sensor, and I'm gonna say that it's most likely pretty similar to what we saw with the D750, just with some tweaks. In terms of ISO, you go from 100 to 51,200 natively. You have 273 phase detect autofocusing points, which cover 90% of the sensor, which is very similar to what you will see in the Z6 as well as the Z7. Right off the bat, they will have animal IAF already in here. You won't need to have a firmware update to do so, but you also have human IAF because you're probably photographing more humans than animals, unless you like animals like Carol Baskin, which I never actually watched that, and I'll never watch it because I don't care about watching Joe Exotic.
It's so good.
I don't know, maybe I'll watch it one day, but I didn't want to waste my time watching it. Now, you will get 4.5 frames per second, which is very similar to 4.5, because half and 0.5 are exactly the same. So it's 4.5 frames per second, which is honestly pretty slow. But to differentiate this from a Z6, you kind of need to dumb it down just a little bit to justify people buying the Z6 over buying something like this Z5. Now, what's interesting is it has 1/8,000th of a second max shutter, which normally in these lower end entry-level full-frame cameras or DX cameras, you will only see a 1/4,000th of a second shutter. So what that means is if you're shooting at 1.8 in bright daylight and all you could get is 1/4,000th of a second, well, now you can have 1/8,000th of a second to take advantage of the extra light that you get from that Z lens. Now, in terms of the electronic viewfinder, it is similar to the Z6 and Z7 with 3.6 million dots. The only difference are the optics that go in front of the electronic viewfinder. But I really like the EVF in the Z6, Z7, and the Z50, so I'm probably gonna like it in the Z5 as well. Carrying over from the Z6 and Z7, you have 5-axis image stabilization, which is nice to have across the board. You have the 1.04 million dot tilting touchscreen, which it seems like with all the camera manufacturers doing tilty rotatable screens, that maybe it's time that everybody just puts in those tilty rotatable screens and not just tilting forward and back, but everybody wants rotating for whatever reason, just in case you ever want it. You have the ability to rotate. This doesn't have it, but maybe they'll do it one day. Now, what the Z6 and Z7 don't have, that I yelled at quite heavily, was 2 card slots. The Z5 has how many slots, Steven?
2.
2 slots. 2 SD UHS 2 card slots. Not CF Express, not 1 SD, not 1 CF Express, 2, count them, how many, Steven, again? 2 SD card slots, which is kind of interesting because the Z6 and Z7 only have 1. Now that begs the question, will the future Z7 and Z6 replacements have 2 SD card slots, or will they go with 1 CF Express and 1 SD? My guess is it will have a CF Express and one SD, and we'll have to wait till they get a Pro model out to get 2 CF Express cards. Let me cut in here to remind you that the Super Huger Mega Camera giveaway is going on right now, where one of you will get the chance to win a camera and lenses valued up to $4,999, and it's completely free to get entered at bit.ly/megafro2020. As a reminder, if you purchase FroPack 1, FroPack 2, the bundle, or any of my video guides, you will score extra entries towards winning the grand prize. Now, I do want to remind you that there is no purchase necessary in order to win, and if you already own FroPack 1, FroPack 2, the bundle, or any of my guides, you already will get those extra entries. Now, let's get back to the video. Now, moving on to video, this is where they save some money because they want to dumb the specs down just a little bit to justify getting the Z6 over this. You have 4K UHD at 30 frames per second with a 1.7x crop factor, but it is a full pixel readout. 1080p at 60 frames per second with no crop, and again, these are limited video features. You can't expect them to put the best of the best with Honor Sir into this lower end camera and not differentiate it from the higher end one of the Z6, which then you think, well, Sony has the A7 III and the A7R4 and the A9, but they don't have anything that's going to be in this price range. So again, when I get to the price, you'll see why they had to dumb it down just a little bit. But the people buying this camera, if they shoot 4K, they'll be fine with it. If they shoot 1080, they'll be fine with it. In the right hands, somebody who knows what they're doing, they're going to get some great results with it. But the truth of the matter is, most people that shoot video of little Johnny or little Debbie running around trying to eat some cupcakes, they're never going to edit that video anyway. So it's good enough. All right, you also have Bluetooth and Wi-Fi built in and no dedicated grip. Now, you can get a grip where Nikon really needs to get a grip, but the grip that you could put on this is just a battery pack, which nobody in their right mind who buys this camera would ever buy. And honestly, nobody in their right mind would ever buy that grip anyway, because it sips battery when you're shooting video. It's perfectly fine. You don't need that grip. That grip is so stupid, but I don't want to go down that hole too far. Another reason why you don't need the battery grip is they have USB-C in this camera that can charge while you are shooting, while you're using it, opposed to being only able to charge when you're not using it. So that is a good thing. And finally, the price. Steven, are you sitting down?
Yep.
$1399.95 for the body only. That's too expensive for this body. Now, don't get me wrong. I said this to Nikon on the call with everybody on it. I'm like, guys, you did a nice job putting together a camera that's an entry-level full-frame camera that has a lot of nice features, very similar to the Z6 and Z7, especially with the body, the 2 card slots, and the capability that it offers, but it's gotta be less. The reason it has to be less than $1,400 is the fact that you can get a Z6 right now for $1,800. So for $400 more, you're getting a much better camera, just in terms of what you can get for the video features and faster shooting in stills. They're very similar. The Z50 is $859. If they never came out with a Z50, then they could have probably priced this at $999, $1099, even $1199 would have differentiated this a lot more from the Z6. Now, I love the Z50. I think the Z50 needs to be even more entry level at $649, $699, $599, somewhere around there to get people into the ecosystem. Now, I think that Nikon is going to end up running rebates on this Z5 at some point to bring it down $200 to $300. I think at that price point, with a $300 discount, it is a very sensible camera for somebody starting off in the world of shooting photos and shooting video. It's a sensible place for them to get started. I do think Nikon did a great job. And I do think that when I get my hands on this camera, I'll really enjoy shooting it because I love the Nikon quality files that I get out of the Z series. The lenses are very good. They're limiting, which is another reason why people getting started are going to have issues finding better pieces of glass, though they could adapt older F-mount lenses to this and still get very nice results. Let me cut in here real quick and ask you, would you like to take better pictures in low light situations? Well, if you said yes, just look for this orange box over on the website, put your name, email address in it, hit send it, and I will send you that guide for free. What do you guys think about this? Is it priced wrong? Would you be interested in purchasing it if it was $1,000 for this body and you're looking to transition into the mirrorless world? So those are my thoughts, and that is my preview of the Nikon Z5. You can leave some comments down below. Don't forget to hit the like button, share it with whoever you'd like to share it with, leave a comment down below, which I already just said, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Jared, Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.